Say hey, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Back again on Say Hey Plays. It's nice to return home, as I said, back to Say Hey Plays. It's nice to see everyone in the chat as always. Baseball to be broken down here today, Bobano. It's nice to see you. We've obviously seen each other once today already because of Hitting the Book. Shout out to that. All the Hitting the Books cuts are right now being hopefully uploaded onto YouTube. If my computer and YouTube could coalesce and help each other out, that'd be great. But it's going to be a good show nonetheless, Bobano, and a busy day here at the pub. How are you doing over there?
Yeah, definitely a busy day for me. Of course, yesterday was Labor Day, so we were out doing things and at the Ticats game. And basically back in action today. We did Hitting the Books. If you missed it, we broke down every significant college football game for the upcoming week. So make sure you check that out. We got Jimmy the Bag and Troy Torrance in the debut of the Bankroll Blitz NFL show tonight, every Tuesday night during the season. So it is a big day at the channel. We got the Gappers contest, Survivor contest. I mean, it's that time of year, great time of year, busy, but great.
Yes, busy time of the year, but a great one, as you mentioned. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Apologies that there wasn't a show yesterday. There should have been. I was very perturbed, honestly, that there wasn't a show yesterday, but it is fine. I will try to get over it, and it'll be a good show today. I'm excited for the card. I've already got a couple bets locked in. I've got some Bobano splits and I go to the Bobano split when I guess don't know whether to take first five or full game, but I'm excited to talk about all these games. Again, shout out to everyone in the chat in here. Dom Play, Remo, Troy Torrance, Jacqueline, Sanderson P, a.k.a. Perky Sanderson in there. Shout out to Hector. Thank you for the stash compliment, my guy. I'm going to shave here today. Just thought I'd do one last shows with this thick boy on here. Rocco Rogers and Rude Vol. Shout out to you, Rude Vol. It was just in Knoxville. Great time. Sammy Colmer also in here as well. So let's get into this game here. Very excited.
No shout out to Rem Most, I see.
Well, I love Rem Most. He's my guy. I love Rem Most. You know, I know Rem Most missed me. I know he
shade your way. Yeah.
I know he missed me for sure. And by the way, wherever Mike M is, I need to ask Mike M if I cash my over under on Cabby bets while he was hosting the show. It helps when you don't show up for two shows with the under when I had the under. So it's very nice. It's very nice. I'm very excited about all these things. Let's talk about the Minnesota Twins, Cleveland Guardians to start this game off or start this day off here. Bobano. We've got the Twins versus the Guardians, Gray versus Bybee. And admittedly, I was kind of hoping that the Guardians could take some of these games from the Twins to make the AL Central race a little more interesting with the since I was away, they added obviously Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez because they cannot be apart from each other. And Giolito went out there, I think yesterday it was, and just absolutely shit the bed. He's costing himself a lot of free agent dollars at the end of the year here. And the Guardians, I think low-key we're hoping to try to get back in the race here with these series against the Twins. Now, I'd label this game as an absolute must-win for the Guardians. They've got to win this game if they have any shot to compete in the AL Central. They're 6 games back here. I don't think they do. I don't know if they win the game full game here, but I'm very interested in them first 5. Bobano, I'm a little worried about them, but I just think after getting shit pumped yesterday, I think they try to come out here and pitch well. Bybee had liked his last appearance was against the Minnesota Twins, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 8 Ks, 3 walks. And Sonny Gray just saw these guys as well. 7 innings shutout, 3 hits. But if it's Sonny Gray, we all know what the deal with Sonny Gray is. You know, the managers always try to limit the looks against Sonny Gray, 1-2 times through to the order. Now we're getting him in a back-to-back here, and I think that the Guardians offense can take advantage. So I'm close to moving on Guardians first 5 here, Bobana. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Bybee. I lean that way. I didn't bet this. I wonder if Guardians are going to get up off the mat following that. That was just a complete beatdown, and they were out of that game early. And you can pretty much not afford to give up any games as it is to Minnesota. Now you put yourself another game behind. And I had the Twins. Yesterday was a great baseball day for me. I capped the card early before I left, and then turned out really well. And the Twins team total over 4.5. I mean, that's about as easy as it could get for me yesterday. Fading Giolito, who I had no faith in, no confidence in whatsoever. And the Twins were able to get to him. I just don't know if the Guardians have a punch back in them. I certainly lean to them here, though, because I like Bybee a little bit more than Gray as far as current form is concerned, but not enough to get me involved. So I'm passing.
Let's read off the market here real quick. I'm trying to pull that up before I move on here. 57% of the bets, 74% of the money on the Guardians here. And for the total here, real quick, sorry, got to get this all in order. 73% of the bets and 73% of the money on the under 8. I'm going to move on it. Guardians first 5 money line. I'll check our friends at Bet Online and see what the price is. The Guardians and what I expect to be Terry Francona's last season as well, by the way. Hope they come out here with some fight and get a win here. So let's go to game 2, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh here. And me and Bobena were just talking about this before the program. We kind of know these teams by now, and it makes prep for these shows a lot easier than compared to what it was at the beginning of the year. But another beautiful thing is when we got to the point of the season where I can just pass on games I just have zero interest in. And I have no interest in trying to either chase a dog price with the Pirates here against Brandon Woodruff, who I think is very good. And I don't want to eat the juice here with Woodruff in an offense I don't trust. So this is another one of the easy passes on my card here today, Bobana. What do you think?
Yeah, I played a small bet here on Milwaukee -1. Get a little better price here with the full game run line -140. I mean, I got no problem going against Andre Jackson. Nothing that I've seen from him is all that impressive for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Of course, whenever you take Milwaukee, money line, team total, anything, you have to rely on this start and stop offense that they have, where one day they can explode for 8 runs and they can get shut down to 2 runs the next game. That's sometimes what you get from this Milwaukee Brewers team. But I certainly give Woodruff a sizable pitching advantage here in this game. And you just hope the Brewers can do what they should be able to do, and that's hit mediocre pitching. But unfortunately, they don't always do that. And even yesterday, facing, Luis Ortiz and the Pirates, I mean, 4-2 loss, but bats held at bay. Bats couldn't really crack anything off Suarez either in the finale against Philadelphia, although there were some key bats missing in the lineup that day for the Brewers. I do think they can, like I said, this is a tricky game because they could explode, but they could also win a 3-1, 4-2 type of game. I could also see something like that, but I do think they can get the job done. And like I say, Woodruff, since he's been back in the rotation here for the Milwaukee Brewers, nothing really wrong at all with his stuff. They're 3-1 in his last 4 starts. He's given up 2 runs or less in 4 of his 5 starts in the month of August. So good form coming into this game. Reasonable past history against Pittsburgh as well. So Brewers -1 for me.
Brewers -1 for Bobano. I've got nothing on this game. I'll read off the markets real quick, as always, for you guys that come in and tune in for the stat as well. 57% of the bets, 80% of the money on the Pirates here, and 42% of the bets and 88% of the money on the under here. Very interesting. So people thinking that Andre Jackson might have a good game here. So very interesting indeed. Let's move on to our next game. Red Sox Rays here. I just never know what to do with the Red Sox anymore. I'm out on them making the playoffs. They're gonna at least hopefully get their win total there at 78.5. I believe I got. So that was cool. Or that's gonna be cool. But I just never have faith in these Red Sox to trust them anymore. Honestly, the offense is kind of sketch. We're hitting points with all these young pitchers that they're hitting their career high in innings pitched. Cutter Crawford's going to do that in this game. He's just coming off getting crushed against the Astros. But the Red Sox won that game yesterday in Tropicana Field, and that was the first time they won in the Trop all year. And I think baseball is one of those things where, once you blow the lid off something, you can go out there and kind of go on a little bit of streak. And I used this example earlier today with Peter. when the Blue Jays beat the Red Sox. They hadn't beaten them all year, and then they proceeded to come into Fenway and sweep them. So I could see the Red Sox going and getting this game as a victory. They have not seen Zach Eflin this year so far, and Cutter has pitched pretty well in 2 appearances against the Rays. Two appearances, both 3 innings. One was a start, one wasn't. Basically the same, and combined and came into 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs combined. So it's just generally fine. I just don't really have a good feel with this Red Sox team right now. So I passed on this game. I lean towards them. I know my guy Jay Peasy, who's in the chat, shout out to Jay Peasy. He's on the Red Sox, but I'm just not confident enough in my guys, I guess. 55% of the bets and 44% of the money here on the over on this game. And for the money line in this game, 84% of the bets and 72% of the money on the Tampa Bay Rays. Bobana, what do you think?
Yeah, Rays off a loss. Eflin's better at home than on the road, and I don't dispute anything you said about Crawford. He's actually pitched more good than bad, and he could go in here and pitch relatively well. I'm not rushing to lay this price with Tampa Bay, but there's not enough elements to like with Boston, so it's another one I stayed off.
Yeah, pretty easy stay off here for me. I did the due diligence, but I just couldn't get there with the Red Sox, unfortunately. So next game, Dodgers-Miami, a game that I have gotten to and I am doubling up on. This was just a fishy line. It was questionable to me. This opened up at minus 160 apparently for the Dodgers, now all the way down to minus 130. And guess what? All the money's on them. So we're just getting that old reverse line movement, which is giving me enough comfort to take the Miami Marlins here, first 5 full game split. Believe in Jesus Luzardo enough to go get the job done as well. He's a quality pitcher. We all know what he does, but fading Kershaw is just a scary thing. And if I'm going to fade him, I'm going to do it on the road. Miami, good against lefties full season, but since August 1st have been just kind of okay. I think I don't have the number in front of me right now. I'll look it up again, but it was like around 91 weighted runs created plus, and I was like, ugh, that's just not great. And it was actually a lot worse than I expected. 78 weighted runs created plus against lefties since August 1st. So it's definitely a concern there, but the reverse line movement is just too big for me to pass up, honestly, Bobano. 68% of the bets, 84% of the money on the Dodgers here, 72% of the bets, 53% of the money on the over in this game. What do you think?
Yeah, Luzardo is one of those just pitchers that he's just hard to get a handle on him. He's just reeling there, and now all of a sudden he's ripped off back-to-back starts without giving up a run, versus San Diego and at Tampa Bay. So which Luzardo is it going to be here against the LA Dodgers? I certainly wouldn't be anxious to lay a price against him based on the way he's pitched in the last 2 starts. But Kershaw's been really good. 1 run in each of his starts in the month of August. He's pitched solidly. The Dodgers have won every start that he's been on the mound. You have to look at this, that at least they get the day off following the homestand to travel to Miami for this game. Save face, really. Atlanta almost swept the Dodgers this past weekend, that big showdown between NL contenders, NL World Series contenders. But they avoided the sweep with a 3-1 win against Atlanta in the finale. To me, I get the reasonings to like Miami here, but Luzardo's, let's be honest, he's now going up against one of the better lineups he'll face. I don't have the utmost enough trust in him, although I lean to the Marlins. Dodgers in a little bit of a tricky travel spot. Kershaw, though, has been good. And to me now it's getting to the point where really the Dodgers are only going to be minus 120, 125 against the Miami Marlins. Or if it keeps dropping like this, it's already down to minus 130, 35 in some spots. So not going to get involved now at this price. I could see Luzardo pitching a gem. I could see Luzardo getting blown up, and I don't want to guess.
Yeah, I'm hoping JP's right, and the Dodgers are just kind of in cruise control here. So I'm going to bet the Marlins, or I've already bet the Marlins, I should say. First 5 full game split for me. All right, Seattle, Cincinnati. Game that, there's playoff implications here. I just don't give a fuck about this game. It's just Connor Phillips making his debut. I looked at his last 3 and it didn't really give me anything that I wanted to bet on. His last start, which is the start that probably got him called up, 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs in AAA. But before that, 1 1/3, 6 earned runs, 1 2/3, 4 earned runs, 4 walks in that 1 2/3 run performance, only 1 hit. So just walked everyone and then gave up a hit, and they all scored, and everyone's like, all right, we're good here. So I don't trust him here. I don't want to back it. The Mariners have been just red hot. Maybe take Mariners -1, especially because the total's at 10 here, so you're expecting high volatility. If I'm making any bet, that would be the bet I make here. But I don't think I'm going to get to the window. 83% of the bets, 89% of the money on the over as well here, and apparently sharps are on the Reds. 39% of the bets, 61% of the money on them here, but I am not on this game. Bobana, what do you think?
At the same time, I'm not laying quite this kind of price on the road with the Mariners, and I like Bryce Miller, but not at this price. And Seattle's kind of cooled off now. They got beaten 2 out of 3 by the Mets over the weekend. So all of a sudden, the Mariners, cooling off a little bit. It helps when you're not playing Oakland and Kansas City every day, like they were for an extended stretch of time. So I just don't feel comfortable laying this kind of price with them. Cincinnati, though, on the flip side, we know that they're kind of just struggling to stay alive right now in the not only the division race, but the wild card race. What will we get here from Conor Phillips, who's going to make this start here for the Reds tonight? Totals, I did kind of have some interest in the over here, 10.5, but a little too high for my liking, so another pass for me.
All right, pass for us as well here. I assume this will be another pass in the New York Yankees Tigers game. Garrett Cole just beating up on little kids here. That's what I'll just say. Garrett Cole just padding his numbers so he can go get a Cy Young award and finally say he has one. Easy pass here for me. If I'm betting anything, it's obviously the Tigers because the Yankees at -230 is ridiculous. But no thanks here. What do you think, Bobano?
Yeah, I'm with you, but Cole's been really good at Yankee Stadium and pretty good lately. So, Faedo a little up and down. But you're right. No way am I ever going to take the Yankees at this price -230. But I don't truly believe Detroit's going to win this game either. So that's why it's a pass.
Agreed. Easy pass for both of us here. And thanks, everyone, as always, for watching and putting your place in the chat. We appreciate them. Keep doing so. 33% of the bets and 57% of the money on the Tigers here. Very funny. And the total wise, 30% of the bets and 55% of the money on the under. So keep an eye out on that while you're betting this game. Nothing for us here as well. Horrible division matchup here. The Mets Nationals, 2 teams that are just running out the clock. And so is Patrick Corbin. And I don't trust Patrick Corbin, obviously. It's a hard guy to put your money behind. But I do kind of expect him to pitch well here against a Mets squad that isn't the best against lefties. Corbin's pitched against them several times before. And I just don't want anything to do with this game because I just don't trust the Mets here. So if anything, again, home dog, give me the Nationals, who have been hot. Might even consider taking a team total in this game, Bobana. What do you think?
Yeah, I finally have a game where I have a bet here, over 9 for me here with the Mets and the Nationals, -120. There are some 9s still out there. Some books have 9.5, but there are 9s -120. I think we'll see some runs here. I'm not buying into Quintana fully here for the New York Mets, even though his numbers aren't that bad. But Nationals match up well against lefties, usually hit better against lefties. I could see them doing some damage, and I'm not trusting Patrick Corbin to shut down any offense. And if anything, we saw the Mets lineup come back to life over the weekend. I thought George Kirby's not a bad pitcher for the Seattle Mariners, and the Mets got to him on Sunday. Very impressive. And the Mets do still have, Nimmo can still hit. Alonso got a big homer on Sunday. I mean, there's still some bats in this lineup you have to fear. And obviously, they're the kind of bats that against a mediocre to below average arm like Corbin, they could be able to do some damage. So very simple, straightforward decision for me. Think we see runs. I like over the total.
I'm going to move on the team total over 4.5. I don't like the 4.5. I wish I had 4 or 3.5. But on Bovada and Bet Online, both offering the 4.5. So I'll take 4.5 plus 117 there. So come on, Nationals. They've been a good team to us at this second half of the season. So see if Quintana can't get touched up a little bit here today. Cardinals Braves. Glad that there is finally a line on this game. We've got not Patrick Corbin. We've got Miles Michaelis versus Mike Soroka here, and I obviously have not updated the graphics on screen. But I will tell you guys the line here is minus 190 for the Braves and Mike Soroka, 10.5 the total, plus 174 for the Cardinals here. Pretty easy pass. I don't trust Soroka anymore. Well, I guess not anymore. It's just you have to get your legs back under you. So I ultimately will just stick with the not knowing of what's going to happen here. Pass. Maybe I lean over, but I don't want to go against the Braves offense at the end of the day. So it's just one of those things where going against the Braves is a tough predicament. So not for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I like this game over the total too. 10, I got it with the total over 10. It's 10.5 now. I still like it. High total, but I'm not trusting Michaelis at all against any sort of good lineup. He's had issues all year when he's had to face these better offenses in Major League Baseball. And when you look at the body of work, he's given up 19 runs in his last 22 innings. That's not very good. I think he'll be in trouble here against Atlanta. Atlanta cracked him for 5 runs, 9 hits earlier this season when he pitched against them. But you're right, my Canadian here, Michael Soroka, he's taken some time to get back into form since returning from the injury. And I'm telling you what, it's hasn't found that form really yet, other than that start against the Mets where he pitched pretty well. Now, he did pitch, we'll see how he fares in this, but when you look at Soroka here, August the 3rd, and some of the struggles he's had, it's concerning. It's not exactly what we expected from him. A 5.52 ERA, from Michael Soroka coming into this matchup here. So, I think the Atlanta Braves will probably do majority of the offensive work and damage in this game, but I don't think St. Louis is going to get completely shut down here either. Soroka still trying to find his footing in this rotation. So over 10.5 here with Cards Braves.
Beautiful. Over in that look, Bobano, glad you have a play in that game because I did not, absolutely. But speaking of plays, I've got 2 here. Kansas City Royals, Chicago White Sox. We talked about this game quite a lot with Peter Loshak. I was pretty surprised to see the Royals such favorites, and I hadn't obviously kept up with Dylan Cease's last few starts. Not good. And it's I'm pretty sure if you line up the split on the date of where the White Sox started selling all their players, that's probably when Dylan Cease started just sucking ass. And I'm pretty sure he just wants the season to be over. He probably just wants to get out of there too. And I think he's just not in it right now. So I took the Royals here. I took them first 5 in full game. I like the Royals. He's faced the Royals earlier in the season. Dylan Cease, when he actually cared. 5 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned runs, 6 Ks, 1 walk against them then. So I think the Royals can get to him here. And Brady Singer, he's been up and down this year. We obviously kind of know that he's bet on at home. On the road is kind of a stay away. He took some days. He maybe had some arm fatigue and then a paternity leave as well. Knocked in there for the Royals. And who knows? Maybe I'm assuming he became a dad. I don't know what the paternity leave was for, but assuming he was a dad just now, maybe that lead up to having a baby is a little stressful. So I like him here. I like him back at home. So I took first 5 full game Kansas City Royals. Bobano, what about you?
I lean that way. I did not pull the trigger just because of what you said it. Minus 125 with the Royals. It takes a lot of stomach, to lay a price with them. It does. And I get it. I want nothing to do with Cease. He's not in good form. This White Sox team, we know, really isn't that much better than Kansas City right now. But I just didn't find the price was good enough for me to actually pull the trigger here on the Kansas City Royals in this game. I liked yesterday's, believe it or not, yesterday's game a little bit more with Kansas City Reagans because and it was a better pitcher to go against for Chicago than even Cease with Schultens. This here, because the one thing about Cease is he's capable, of turning things around. Singer's been a little too erratic still for me. I mean, he's had some better moments lately, but not enough yet consistency where, let's lay minus 125 in the month of September with the Kansas City Royals. No. Lean Royals, but that's it.
I'm on them. Should be an interesting time, especially laying juice with the Royals is always scary. So I was surprised they were favorites. I was like, all right, if they're favorites, I feel like this is a sign. So let's see it here. Come on, Royals today. So not something you see often. Giants, Cubs. I just did not give a fuck about this game, Bobano. This Giants team is just so bad on offense and burned me so many times that I was just like, I don't want nothing to do with this. And I've said this a couple times now. I've seen many people doing the same thing we're doing with the Orioles, just betting the Brave or betting the Cubs every day, and it's seemingly like a winning proposition for them. So I guess if I had to make anything, it's a Cubs -1 perhaps, or a Cubs money line spot. I like Kyle Hendricks. I like him at home. I'll double check his splits because obviously at the beginning of the year and his first couple of starts, he had those opposite of his typical home road splits, dominating on the road and sucking at home, and he's still kind of there. 2.89 on the road compared to 4.31 at home this year, which again is basically the opposite of his career. It's evened out a little bit, but 3.17 at home, a 3.78 on the road career wise. So I lean towards the professor, but nothing here for me.
Yeah, I like the Cubs here. This San Francisco team is in a bad way. They've lost 4 in a row. They've scored 4 runs in those 4 games combined. The offense has gone limp. The bats are silent right now. And I'm not the biggest Kyle Hendricks fan, but, he's pitched a little bit better lately. 2.48 ERA in his last 5 starts. 1.96 ERA his last 3 starts here at Wrigley Field. So, it was weird that earlier in the season, his home numbers weren't typical Kyle Hendricks strong home numbers, but he's pitched better at home lately. And just overall, I find his form is starting to get there again with what we know he's capable of. He's given up just 4 runs in his last 17 innings of work. So I like what I'm seeing out of Hendricks as far as getting his form going. Ryan Walker is just going to be, of course, an opener and give way to Sean Manaea, who is just, I don't trust this guy at all. I don't think he's even been particularly all that much better in the bullpen role for the San Francisco Giants. 4.96 ERA. Cubs are playing some pretty good baseball right now. They've won 5 of their last 7 games. The San Francisco Giants are not. So to me, all things considered, a perfectly reasonable price here to be backing the Chicago Cubs.
I think I'm going to move on a player prop here. Shout out to those in the chat dropping Cody Bellinger RBI here. Rocco Rogers dropping it. And by the way, BJ loves the Cubs as well. 6 units for him. I like that look. It's a good plus money price. Cody Bellinger ranks 11th for highest WRC plus, weighted runs created plus, against lefties this season. And even if I, let me see, even if I just hit for qualified batters, he would be, and I guess I got to refresh my fucking page here, but for qualified batters against lefties, no, he's still 11th. I was actually trying to get Josh Young out of there because Josh Young is 8th right now, but he obviously has not played in quite a long time. And Luis Robert, like, in front of him, and he only has a few plate appearances against them, I guess, 118. So, yeah, I like Cody Bellinger RBI here. And you guys can probably guess that total. That total usually means there's wind blowing in Chicago. And I'll refresh my Swish analytics right here. But, it's just that that Chicago wind. Think that will help us out here. So 11 mile-an-hour is blowing out to right field there. No, I was right. Left field, excuse me. Right and left are hard sometime, I guess. Left center, and then dies down to 10 and 9.3 throughout the game. So I'm going to be on it. Cody Bellinger RBI here. I've got it on our friends at Bovada plus 140. I'm getting fucked there, but I'll take it. Cody Bellinger RBI plus 140 for me there. And shout out to Mike M, who really has opened up the kimono for me when it comes to playoff prop or player props and RBI props. So shout out to you, my man. All right.
Keeping those ribeyes coming.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to. I will need these smoked ribeyes in Public Palooza as well. Shout out to Mike M. Texas Rangers, Houston Astros. And boy, oh boy, my favorite development in the week that I have been gone is me being 1,000% right about the Texas Rangers the entire year. I have said the entire year that this team was going to fall off and they would not make the playoffs. And here we are. Bobano, I said I was going to be a Blue Jays fan, And I was going to root fucking hard for the Blue Jays to get in because I knew that one of our teams, the Blue Jays or the Red Sox, would be the team that knocks out the Rangers here. And we're right there. We're right there. Officially a half game back, tied in the win column, a game back in the loss column. And the Blue Jays play the A's, who we'll talk about here shortly, and the Rangers play their daddies, the Astros. And I fucking love it. I cannot wait. Obviously, the Astros won last night, warmed my heart, and I'm just going to bet them every game this series, no matter what here. I know Nathan Eovaldi's coming back. I know his last appearance against these these Houston Astros was great. I think it was 7 innings shutout, 3 hits. But I don't care because this team's folding. Their bullpen is as horrible as we've been saying all year. And Nathan Eovaldi's not going to go 7 innings today. That bullpen's going to come in and get blown up here, and I can't wait for it. Now, Framber Valdez has pitched poorly against them this year, but I think Framber Valdez is a gamer and a guy that needs that atmosphere to go out there and pitch well. And he got crushed last time out, and I think he's a competitor, and I think he'll go out there and pitch well. So I took money line here for the Astros, minus 110 for me. Bobano, what do you like about this game?
Yeah, I like the over here. I don't like Valdez's form. Valdez got crushed by Texas in 2 starts this year, 11 runs in 9.2 innings for Valdez against the Rangers. That's not what you want to see. His current form isn't very good. He's given up 4 runs or more in 4 of his last 5 starts since August the 8th. So I don't like what I'm seeing as far as Valdez is concerned. And Texas's strength is obviously still the lineup and what they can do offensively. But I'm not really enamored with Eovaldi coming back here off an extended stretch on the injured list. And keep in mind, his numbers are good this year. I don't want to take everything away from him, but a lot of it was his xFIP and his advanced numbers are above what his ERA is. So I don't know if he necessarily was as good as those ERA numbers earlier would indicate. I think the Astros will probably be a tough matchup for him, even though he did shut them out when he faced them on July the 1st. 2 hits of shutout ball. Can he duplicate that effort? I'm not so sure. And again, I'm not ever fully on board with trusting a starting pitcher when they've been out on the IL for a period of time. And I think Houston, look, obviously Houston's bats were very, very disappointing in the New York series over the weekend against the Yankees, but clearly they erupted yesterday in the 13-6 victory that they had over the Texas Rangers. We'll see if they can keep that going here today. That game flew over the total. I was on the over as well yesterday. I'm going right back to the well with it here tonight, over 9, Astros Rangers.
Markets for these games, let's talk about it. 65% of the bets and 85% of the money on the Rangers tonight. Concerning to say the least. Market for the total. Wow, very interesting. 16% of the bets on the under, but 48% of the money on the under. So big bets on the under here. Very interesting. Maybe they're thinking it's some playoff baseball here, but I don't know. I just think this Rangers continues to be a fade, and I cannot wait to see them continue to lose. All right, next game. I mean, do I even need to say what I'm on here? We've been continuing this Orioles train for a while now. When I was away, I was betting them quietly, and it was great. We had a great time. Again, the highlight of that, they were plus 120 the other day against the Arizona Diamondbacks against Zach Gallen, and the Orioles just took it out and just smacked them around at plus 120 underdogs. Bet the Orioles every day if you like money. That's what I just keep telling people. So Orioles -1, minus 128, simply for me, Bobano. What do you have on this one?
Oh, yeah, no argument here with that. The -1 is probably what you have to bet if you want a little bit of a better number for them. And, of course, it's not just that Baltimore against this reeling Angels team, but it's also, what this team has been able to do this season against lefty pitching. We know they've always been very good against lefties. Reed Detmers just hasn't been nearly as good the last month to 2 months. But I approached it differently. I went with the team total here for Baltimore. Over 4.5 here with the Orioles team total in this game. I like it quite a bit. Over 4.5. We know even if Detmers gives up just 3 or 4 and they need another run or two, they can easily get it against this Angels bullpen. And by the way, Baltimore, as far as their recent numbers, you go back to the Chicago White Sox series over a week ago, Baltimore scored 9, 9, 5, 2, 7, 8, and 6 in their last 7 games. So 6-1 they would be as far as getting over 4.5 runs in their last 7 games. So I thought that was just better value. You can go -1. I have no issues with that. I just thought this was the best approach, the best price to go team total instead. And that way, too, I don't have to worry about Kramer because Kramer has had a couple of bumps of late. He's still been pretty good overall, but a couple of bumps lately for Dean Kramer for the Baltimore Orioles. So this way I can just hone in on the Baltimore Orioles getting the job done here against this Orioles team. So, focus on the Orioles lineup getting it done against Detmers and the Angels bullpen. So team total for the Orioles here over 4.5.
And I'm not expecting Ohtani in the lineup, just for those watching at home. I saw the video of him, swinging, and he had a little tight oblique. He got out of there pretty quickly. I don't know. I just find it interesting that Ohtani just continues to try to play through all these fucking injuries, man. Just shut it down.
Shut it down, man. You're not going anywhere.
Just
Your team's not
down.
going anywhere. It's ridiculous at this point. Like, just be smart, be sensible. I appreciate the passion to play and being a team guy and doing all you can to play through injury. I always respect and admire that, any player that does that. But this is now coming down to common sense and just, it ain't worth it, at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I think he should sit, but we shall see what the greatest baseball player of all time does next. Colorado, Arizona Diamondbacks, just -200 with the Diamondbacks is disgusting. Get this fucking game out of my face, Bobano. Did you have anything on this one? Because I wanted absolutely nothing to do here.
I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's almost impossible to want to back the Rockies right now. I mean, I don't know if that bullpen is just horrendous for them. Absolutely brutal. I mean, if you're going to take a shot with Freeland here, you got to maybe look at the first 5 or you don't bet it at all. But the Rockies bullpen is rough. And, what's interesting about Freeland is, we've seen him actually at times pitch okay for the Colorado Rockies, that he's actually the one pitcher that you say, hey, maybe we don't mind taking a shot with him. But unfortunately, even he's given up 4 runs or more in 3 of his last 4 starts for the Colorado Rockies, and they're only 1 and 3 in his last 4 starts. Bailey Fott has, pitched a little bit better here the last month, although that was not one of his better starts last time against the Dodgers. 6 runs, 8 hits, 4 innings. He's still, a work in progress, pretty raw right now as far as a major league starting pitcher. Can he shut down Colorado here? We'll see, but I'm not laying 200 to figure it out. So pass for me.
Shout out to Troy Torrance, who has been tracking those home favorites, and the line moves towards them with more money on them, et cetera, and then just cash out. He says this is one of those spots. He said, don't think, just bet it, Troy. I will do so. I'm not thinking, I'm betting it. Arizona Diamondbacks -1.5, -105 there. Just what a horrible Rockies team. Just disgusting. If you're -200, if you're, I guess, facing a -200 Diamondbacks team, then you're fucking up, Rockies. You are fucking up this. That's crazy. All right, 2 games left. And by the way, shout out to Troy Torrance. You can catch him tonight, the debut of Jimmy the Bag and him, Bankroll Blitz. Great football program that's going to be on Pub Sports Radio every Tuesday, breaking down all the games. All the games early, as both Bano said, and we'll be cutting those up as well and putting them out individually if you want to watch any of those games or watch any of those breakdowns individually as well. So tune in tonight. Shout out to Troy, my guy. Come on, Blue Jays. Just fucking win for me, Blue Jays. One time, man. Just take these A's back and just show them what's what.
How about a stress-free win for a change? Everything,
Please.
Even against the bad teams, has to be like a fucking white knuckler right down to the final out. Holy shit. They can't win anything easily.
No, they cannot, Bobano. Tell me what the temperature is like over there in Toronto right now with this baseball team, because it feels like it goes up and down, just like the Red Sox, because this team should be so much more talented, blah, blah, blah. But they're a half game out of the playoffs now against, they're chasing a team that was the bee's knees for the first half of the season, and now they're right there. What's everyone thinking, or what's everyone saying in Toronto about this team, Bobano? What do you think about this game?
This one, I like the over a little bit here, 8, just because I think Waldichuk, he's been a little bit better. I'll give him that the last month, but the Oakland bullpen was really worked yesterday, and a lot of innings pitched, and even the Jays bullpen, Romano, multiple innings. So the door's going to be open with 2 depleted, tired, worn down bullpens after that extra inning marathon yesterday between these two teams. So I thought a shot over 8 was a good shot here to get this game over the total. Bassett hasn't been good on the road. Bassett's really had trouble away from Toronto this year. I mean, overall, he's been better lately. Can he bring it on the road? And this is Oakland. It's not only and plus it's his former team. He's going to want to beat him, but it's not one of the tougher lineups you'll face. But, he has had some problems on the road. The Blue Jays lineup is showing some life here. The Colorado series, the bats started to wake up. Obviously, they scored when they had to. Yesterday in extra innings against Oakland. So I could see this one going over the total 8, even if the starting pitchers aren't that bad, because you got these 2 tired, depleted bullpens possibly for this game tonight. And really the sentiment here for Jays fans is that it seems like it's the youngsters, the call-ups, the AAA, Buffalo Bison players that have kind of carried them at times in some of these wins. Ernie Clement, and obviously Davis Schneider, what he's done is sick. I mean, what he's done is absolutely ridiculous. He has just been sensational since he's been called up to the Blue Jays. Davis Schneider, Ernie Clement, and this Spencer Horwitz kid too. It's another guy that stepped in there and he's delivered at the plate for the Blue Jays. Meanwhile, you got these overpaid stiffs like Vladdy and some of these other guys that can't hit the ball out of a wet paper bag, can't hit their way out of a wet paper bag. Chapman's another one, even though he's injured right now. They still miss Bichette, although he's getting close to returning. Springer's hot and cold, in and out with hot streaks. You never don't get a lot from Biggio. So there's a lot, there's way more outs in this lineup than people thought there would be coming into the season. But against Oakland tonight, they should have enough to get the job done. But I'm not laying $175 to figure it out with a team that even seems to beat the bad teams. It's a close one. It's a sweat. It's a stress job. And I don't want mine when I'm laying a price like this on the road. I don't want stress jobs, and somehow the Blue Jays make it that way. So for me, just the total here, over 8.
Okay, I like that over as well, and I hope you're right. Let's get a fucking easy win, Bobano, because I'm rooting hard for the Blue Jays. I've got that Rangers ticket, and I'm just sitting there like really hoping it cashes. By the way, for those keeping track at home, Rangers to make the playoffs now, no plus 160 now. So very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Last game on our slate, another very confusing line to me, Bobano, and maybe you'll make some sense out of this for me. I mean, when I left, Lorenzen was the talk of Philadelphia. Everyone's like, oh my God, we finally have another guy with Nola and Wheeler, et cetera, et cetera. And his last 2 starts have been shaky, to say the least. And now he's an underdog against Pedro Avila and the disappointing Padres. I don't know. I mean, 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned against the Angels, 5 innings, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 4 runs against the Giants. I just lean Philadelphia here, but this is just a weird line here, Bobano. I just any other set of pitchers, the Phillies might be favored in all these games, but maybe people are still betting the Padres off name value. I don't know. I just didn't get this game, Bobano. I really didn't. Market in this game before I pass it to you. 64% of the bets, 85% of the money on the Philadelphia Phillies here. And totals wise, 70% of the bets and 79% of the money on the over. I just feel like this might be a trap. What do you think, Bobano?
I'm not going to – I don't want San Diego, but Lorenzen's no good right now. He really isn't. He's been – and this is the peril of throwing a guy out there for 124 pitches just to get him a no-hitter. because since that
Mhm.
no-hitter against Washington, he hasn't been the same. He's got no zip on his pitches. He's leaving pitches up in the zone where he's getting clobbered, and it's ever since he had that no-hitter. I think it wore him the fuck out. I think that start really wore down that arm strength, whatever you want to call it, but he has just not had that same, the velocity and zip on his pitches in these starts since that no-hitter, and he has been crushed, Michael Lorenzen. He's been hammered. He's given up 15 runs in his last 14 innings of work. That's not what you want to see. 7.8 ERA since that no-hitter for Michael Lorenzen here with the Philadelphia Phillies. That's not what I'm looking for. At the same time, Pedro Avila, he hasn't been very good at all in 2 starts with the Padres. 11 runs in his 7.1 innings of work. That's absolutely terrible. So we're going back to another over the total. It's to me very straightforward. We saw a huge, easy over the total winner for me with these 2 teams yesterday in the series opener, 9-7, won by the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't know if we're going to get that same kind of offense here today, but we don't need it. Just get me 10 runs. I'll be happy. I think we're more than capable of getting that here. And Lorenzen's form has just completely fallen off. Avila hasn't looked any good in 2 starts for the Padres. And you got 2 lineups that are capable of taking advantage. So over 9 for me to wrap it up with Phillies Padres.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I just didn't get it. Like, I just thought the offense for the Phillies would be able to at least make them like minus 120 here, but yeah, no, nothing for me here. And that concludes our show here. Again, the beautiful part of these shorter days, I guess, or more sports laden days later on in the year. Now we can kind of pick and choose the games we go in depth about. It's very nice. And you guys have plenty of action here today on the card. So it's going to be a fun evening as well. Updated record on the screen now. I updated it. I had to search back and go through some record keeping to make sure I was all set. Minus 10 units with about, a month left, I guess we can say. 5 days left. My goal is still to be a winning capper before the end of the regular season here. And it's very achievable here. And today is the first step in that journey. So it's going to be a fun last couple of 25 days here to try to get this. Well, I shouldn't even say 25 because we're Monday through Friday now. But it's going to be fun trying to crack at this record now. So let's recap, Bobano. I'll go first. My tweeted out action, -1 for the Orioles, -128. Astros money line, -110. First 5 and full game Kansas City Royals. I got both at -123. And first 5 full game Miami Marlins there as well. I'm going to double check my Marlins price. First 5 +102, full game +121 there. Additions from today's show: Cleveland Guardians, first 5, even money. Washington Nationals team total over 4.5 at +117. Cody Bellinger, rare RBI prop for me. Cody Bellinger, RBI +140. And the don't think it, just bet it play from Troy, -1.5 for the Arizona Diamondbacks, -107 there. Bobano, tell me what is on your card today.
Yeah, of course, there's nothing wrong with being down for a season, Rocco. Of course, you're going to have ups and downs. I have ups and downs. I was down most of the CFL season, and that's supposed to be one of my best sports. And now here I am. I finally, after yesterday, it was a great weekend, got back into the black and plus units on the CFL season. So, it's ups and downs. You got to ride the wave, and you got to just keep plugging away, and that's the way it's done, especially if you're going to do this thing every day. Absolutely 100% right. There's always going to be ups and downs. You're not going to be winning every single day. It's just impossible. All right, my card, which is a small card compared to what I usually have on this show. Milwaukee, full game run line, -1, -140. New York Mets, Washington, over 9, -120. St. Louis, Atlanta, over 10.5, -105. Chicago Cubs, -126. Philadelphia, San Diego, over 9, -110. Houston, Texas, over 9, -110. Baltimore team total, over 4.5, -125. And Toronto, Oakland, over 8, even money.
Wow, that was short. Beautiful work, Bobano. I appreciate you for joining me. Thank you for being here. every Tuesday. You had a busy Tuesday today, I'm sure, especially because you just came back from the football game yesterday as well. Again, apologize to all the Say Hey viewers that there wasn't a Say Hey yesterday. It was my birthday, plus I was returning from that trip. And Dabby Cab was just, I don't know, his head up his ass, I guess. I couldn't tell you what happened to him yesterday. So, but it's going to be a fun show here today, or I should say, it was a fun show. Will be a great show going forward here next week. And we'll be going every day, Monday through Friday, till the regular season ends. And then when the regular season ends, we'll be picking and choosing, going to those playoff games, and we'll be breaking them down very, very nicely. And I cannot wait. So thanks everyone for watching. Gerald Jones, Perky Sanderson, Memorabilia, that one dude, Big Ragu in here, Gagnon, Nasty Nate, LB Patrol, Lottie, Louisiana, Don Play, Rocco Rogers, Gagnon, Markel, Jake Burns, shout out to Big Show joining us here as well. Jay Peasy, Streamline Gaming, by the way, is saying playing fantasy, MLB fantasy, first times ever. Any teams I should favor heavily today? I would just go look at the totals for those games on the any gambling site, and you just I would pick and choose the team you like to score the most in that game from those lineups. So, for example, I guess like the Cubs and Cody Bellinger would obviously be one because I have an RBI, and the Diamondbacks with Corbin Carroll, and maybe you can get some cheap Diamondbacks, Christian Walker, et cetera, et cetera. But stuff like that, Orioles doesn't hurt as well either. Bobano, any final words, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, that's about it. Make sure you sign up for the contests at Pub Sports Radio if you haven't. Make sure you check out college football hitting the books. If you didn't earlier today, Jose's posting the individual game preview videos on the channel as well. So check all that out. And we're back to our regular day and time with that show next Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. I'll be back on this show next Tuesday, Jimmy the Bag, I think next Friday, but I'll confirm that. And, of course, our new Saturday morning college football show, too. Don't forget, Jeff Nadu, big man on campus, and Peter Loshak with the Saturday morning pregame show, so 10 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you check all of that out. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out, and let's have a good night.
Yes. Hit the like button on your way out, guys.
Jimmy and Troy tonight, too. Bankroll Blitz. I'll be checking it out. I'll be tuning in. NFL show. 8 p.m.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Bobano. Bankroll Blitz tonight. I'll give you guys a little preview, I guess, the promo before we head out of here, when we get out of here. So, again, thank you guys so much. I'm back for the rest of the year. No more leaving. Just grind time to the playoffs. Those 10 units are going to be gone before we know it. And it's going to be a great time. We'll have a good celebration here amongst all the people in the Say Hey chat. Appreciate you guys. Follow us on Twitter at Bobano, at Jose Bouquett. Say to us. We'll see you guys next time for another edition of Say Hey Plays.
White open Torrance. Oh, baby, touchdown. How do you leave the best receiver in the NAIA that wide open?
I am so excited to announce our brand new football show on Pub Sports Radio, Bankroll Blitz. We had an excellent year last year. 107 wins, 79 losses, hit at 57.5%, plus 19.2 units, ROI plus 10.32%, average line minus 111. But there's always room for improvement. There is always more money to make. And I can't wait to introduce to you my co-host this season, Troy Torrance.
It's good, Jimmy. Thanks for having me out, man. Super excited to be here and take this journey with you.
Oh, man, Troy, we are pumped up about this partnership. Troy, tell the Pub Sports Squad a little bit of why you are the star of this new season.
So there's really three things that my entire life has revolved around since I was a little boy. And the first thing is football. Played football my entire life throughout college, was an All-American receiver, and had some opportunities at the NFL level that didn't really pan out. But I'm proud of what I was able to accomplish. The second thing is my gambling background. For about as long as I've been playing football, I've been gambling. From playing Madden back in my high school days at a professional level, playing high-stakes cash games, winning Madden challenges, and fast forward after college, played a lot of 2-5 no limit, very competitively for many years. And around 2020, when COVID happened, casinos started shutting down. Is kind of when I got gravitated back into sports through a gambling lens. And it's a beautiful thing because that's kind of where I've been most successful. So I'm extremely excited to be here, represent the pub sports community, man.
You are a huge addition to our channel, and I'm so excited for this season. The season is fast approaching. You can catch us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Bankroll Blitz starts September 5th, baby. Let's go.